Now we're looking at negative exponents, and the key here is to remember that we should always express with a positive exponent. Okay, so that's what's key. We should always express with positive exponents or powers. So if I have 1 over a to the n, I can rewrite that as a to the negative n. Or if I have a to the negative n, to make it positive, I put 1 over a to the n. If I have 1 over a to the negative n, to make it positive, I put it to the top. So basically what you need to remember is you just move the base with its power to either the numerator or the denominator to make it positive. So here I have 5 to the negative 7. It's at the top. So to make it positive, I put it at the bottom of a fraction. So it becomes 1 over 5 to the 7. And we can evaluate 5 to the 7 on the calculator. That becomes 1 over 78125. Now, in the next one, the 4 to the negative 2 is in the denominator. So to make it positive, I move it to the top. So it becomes 4 squared. 4 squared is 16. Next, I have negative 3 to the power of negative 5. So to make it positive, I move it to the bottom. So it becomes 1 over negative 3 to the power of 5. Now I can work out negative 3 to the power of 5. I know it's going to be negative because I have an odd power. So it's negative 1 over 243. Don't get too caught up with the evaluating. I'm just doing it to show you that that can be done. Now the 4's fine. There's no negative power there. The x to the negative 2 is an issue. So I need to move it up with the 4. So it becomes 4x squared. This is where people get mixed up because they move the other part of it, so they will move the 4, but the 4 does not have a negative exponent, so it just stays. Next, I have 3 squared is 9. B to the negative 7, I need to move it to the denominator to make it positive. Next, they've got A, B, C, D. None of the bases are the same. So I'm going to put in my vinculum for my fraction. I have A to the negative 5. It has to move to the bottom to become positive. B cubed, already positive, it can stay at the top. C squared, already positive, so it can stay down the bottom. D to the negative 4 is negative, so it needs to move to the top. Next, now this is firstly a multiplication. Do not worry about the negatives until the very last step. So I'm going to do the multiplication first. So I have A to the negative 3 plus 7, and then I look at my B's. I have B to the 4 takes 6. So that becomes A, negative 3 plus 7 is 4, B, 4 takes 6 is negative 2. Now I worry about having the positive power. B to the negative 2 needs to move to the bottom. Next, the A's. I've got A to the negative 4 take 2. Then look at my B's. B to the 5 take negative 6. Now, remembering, minus minus becomes a plus. So this becomes A, negative 4 take 2 is negative 6. B, 5 plus 6 is 11. The A is the negative power, the B is fine. So the B can stay, the A has to go to the denominator. Now next one I'm going to do the powers first. So I've got 2 to the negative 3. X 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Y 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. Times 3 to the power of 2. X negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. Y 5 times 2 is 10. I'm not going to worry about the 2 to the negative 3. I'm going to leave the negative till the end. So I've got 2 to the negative 3. And I've got a 3 squared. So I'm looking at my numbers first, just to point that out. 3 squared is 9, so I'm just going to write that. Then look at my x's. So I'm looking at the multiplication now. So x, negative 6 plus negative 8. And then I look at my y's, and I have y to the negative 3 plus 10. Okay, So that becomes 2 to the negative 3 times 9, x negative 6 plus negative 8 is negative 6 take 8, which is negative 14, y negative 3 plus 10 is 7. Now I'm going to worry about my negatives. 2 to the negative 3, it has to move to the bottom, become 2 cubed, and 2 cubed I'm going to write as 8. The 9 stays at the top, x to the negative 14 has to go to the bottom, y to the 7 stays at the top. Next one, I'm going to worry about the power first, just using rules of precedence. Always look at the powers first. So I have x squared y over y to the negative 3 divided by x to the negative 2 all over y to the negative 2. I'm going to do something a bit weird because I prefer multiplication than division. So this might look a bit weird. There are different ways to do this problem. I'm going to change to multiplication and flip. And then I'm going to work across. So I have x squared. So what I mean by that, I'm going to look across first. I'm so going to run out of room. But anyway, I've got x squared y to the 1 take 2 is negative 1. And on the bottom, I have my y to the negative 3 and my x to the negative 2. So that then becomes, if I look at my x's, so I'm doing the division last, I have x 2 take negative 3 becomes 2 plus 3, which is 5. Y negative 1 take negative 3 becomes negative 1 plus 3. So that's squared. Okay, so I'm going to write that just down below so you can see what I did. So for the x's, it was 2 take negative 3, and that becomes a plus. And for the y's, it was a negative 1 take negative 3, so that became a plus.